Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, as always, I am joined by my fabulous co host, Miss Kate Sitars. Hello, Kate.
Hello. Hello.
And then we have the pleasure of being joined today by Carli Delacruz. Hi, Carli.
Hello.
Hello. So Carli is a star CCA student who's also taken her copywriting training in kind of a different direction, which was one of the reasons that we wanted to bring you in and talk to you today to share with our listeners, with your fellow students, just what copywriting can turn into in terms of your career. So welcome. It's good to have you.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. So how did you kind of, even before you are where you are now, how did you kind of get into copywriting or the idea of, oh, I think maybe it's something I want to explore?
Well, for me, it all started with the pandemic, like I'm sure it did for a lot of folks. I was working in like your standard office job at an oil and gas company, and I was making the most money I'd ever made in my life. And then I was only there for about a month before the pandemic hit. And then they were instantly like, okay, layoffs. So sorry. And I was devastated. I honestly like remember sitting in my room and I was crying. That first day I was sitting on my bed like, what am I going to do now? And then of course the magical timing of things, I saw an ad for CCA on Facebook and I thought, okay, well, this is like a good time for me to examine my life and my purpose and what I really want to be doing with my time. So I said, let me look at this. And I think I did like an email lead magnet, which popped up a video that said like, isn't it time for you to be happy? And I thought to myself, like I said out loud, yes, it is. So I signed up for the course and I started working on that and I really got into it. I had a background in social media many years ago, so I thought this was like a good natural tie-in for me to do. And I started doing the course and doing that, and then eventually I saw a job posting in our group from Adele Costa,
Mhm.
and it was for a communications intern at the National Women's Health Network. And I saw that the description kind of had like social media elements to it as well. So I said, this is for me. Let me ask her if I can do this. And it's kind of a funny story because it was originally for like a college student. And I thought to myself, I don't know if she's going to want like an old person because I'm in my 30s. So I hesitated for like half a day, like, should I ask her about this? Is this embarrassing? Hesitated for half a day. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. So I sent her a message like, will you take an old person for this job? And she said, yes, please apply. And knowing that I was CCA, she knew that I could write. So it gave me like an automatic leg up on the competition. And she said, like, please, please do it. So I did. And then the rest is kind of history. It kind of evolved from there. And I grew into a social media manager eventually from there, and it's become this full-time position, and I'm super happy. I'm super fulfilled now.
That's wonderful.
Oh, that,
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
That's great. I really, really applaud you for being willing to step into something new in an internship. I think a lot of people would have that, well, that's for college kids, it's not for me, and would let
Mhm.
that stop them from taking action. But I really applaud you for being called to reach out and being called to take that step and in doing it. And I think it's such a great proof that sometimes doing things that feel that we kind of called to do but feel a little odd can lead to really fantastic results. So good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like a lot of things that really appealed to me. It was women's health, which is something that I was passionate about in my life. Prior, it had that social media, it had those copywriting elements. So I was like, I need to go for this. And if there's one thing that I can tell people, it's, the importance of networking and then not being afraid to go for things like that, even though putting your shame aside, I guess, to be like, I want to do this and let me just try and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's terrific. Well, and so,
yeah.
I think that might be a question some people have is we consume social media, or so many of us
Mhm.
consume social media, but don't necessarily think about the strategy that goes behind it. So how have you found that your copywriting training has prepared you for that social media manager role?
They're definitely intertwined. I mean, leading with the benefits works with social media as well because it's always about like hooking people's attention and getting them to want to follow you and getting them to want to hear more. So I find that I use that a lot in social media. I do organic and I also do paid media. So I definitely use it a lot more on the paid side as well. But I use it on the organic side too. Like right now, we're promoting an event and we're trying to get sponsors and attendees. So I'm writing from all these different angles and trying to hook people with the different benefits at different levels.
That makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some other elements of your job though? Just because I feel like there's so much you probably do on a day-to-day basis. So can
Yeah,
you, yeah.
sure. Yeah. So I do a lot of organic, and as I said, I also do paid. So I write a lot of Facebook ads. And then I write a lot for Instagram as well. So it's a lot of writing, and our audience base is really diverse. So on Facebook and Twitter, it tends to be like older adults. So I have like a different tone and different topics and then different interest points that I try to capture. And then for Instagram, I'm writing to a younger audience. So it's like totally different thing. And I'm using a lot of those elements on on both of those platforms.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you also doing because I know obviously you're writing copy, which is awesome.
Mhm.
So copywriting's clearly coming in there, but are you doing the content planning and coming up with like, okay, in November, like this is what we're going to do on each day or?
Yes, so we have like a progressive health holiday calendar that I am writing to, and each month I go through and kind of look at the holidays and like, okay, I'm going to write this, and then we're going to promote these events, and then there's a lot of we have like partners who send us like toolkits and things to promote, and I always try to like put my own spin on it for our own audience. Like they would give us like canned language to use, and one of the first things I did was I said, "Can I change this a little bit?" Because it's very sometimes it's very generic and it's not super exciting. So a lot of times it'll be like, "Call your senator at this," and there's not really anything like why. Like I kind of ask the question, why should they want to do that? Why should they want to follow through? Like what is in their interest of doing this. So then I started going at it from that angle as well.
Mhm.
Nice. And on the paid side, are you managing the ad side? Like,
I am.
yeah, because I know a lot of people in the CCA caveat to begin with, this is not something you have to do. This is something
Mhm.
Carli chose to do.
Yes.
But yeah, speak to us a little bit about that because I think some people are interested, but maybe also afraid.
Sure.
And
Yes, I definitely had that level of fear too. Like I kind of noticed it with my own self and others in our group. Like when you bring up the word SEO and some people go, but it's not that scary. So I am managing our ads and I write a lot of ads. And as I said, the latest one is like event promotion, but I also do like educational pieces that we're promoting like on our website or different blogs and things. So it's a lot of that. We work with somebody who does the targeting. So I don't do that
okay.
side of it. I
Okay.
just strictly do the copy side of it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because there are different levels, right? There are different levels of how deep you want to get into ads management.
Yeah.
There's the obviously the writing the copy is the writing, but yeah, there's okay, we're gonna run a couple of ads here, or then you dig into okay, we're gonna retarget, we're gonna run ads here, we're gonna do conversion ads here, we're gonna do views ads here, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
So
And
I
then we
don't
have
want
to manage a budget. I feel like
and then you have
that's
to
where I
manage a
think it
budget.
gets
Exactly. So
intimidating.
I want to, all I just want to say for our listeners, because that does become a question of like, well, I'm copywriting. Should I also be managing the ads? There is often a steep learning curve. There's stuff you need to learn,
Hmm.
as I'm sure you did before you dug in there and started managing it. Yeah.
Our ads lady has taught me a lot about it. Her and I work in like close conjunction, and basically Adele gives me the directive like, okay, we want ads on this topic. Like we're launching a new podcast, so we want an ad set for the podcast, and then we want an ad set for the event, and we want it to target sponsors, and we want it to target attendees. So then I sit down and write out the copy, and then I work with our ads lady, and she does like all the targeting, and we do a lot of testing. Like, okay, I want to use this image with it, and then we'll try it. She does all of that stuff, but she's kind of taught me along the way, like, okay, these are the limits for like headlines for ads and things.
Yeah.
So I've really learned a lot from it that way.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fun, isn't it? Yeah.
It
It's such a
is.
good. Okay. Everyone go learn from Carli. She's Love it. I think it's just a good reminder that there's such a benefit to working on a team sometimes. I think a lot of us think, oh, freelance or bust, but clearly and are you remote? You're remote,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fully remote. Yes.
Yeah. But that opportunity to still connect with your teammates and learn and grow from them.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I like working as part of a team and having that collaboration, and just as you said, getting to learn from each other is awesome, and getting to talk to other people every day. It's still definitely weird coming from like an office environment to being fully remote, and I think it's harder to have that like teamwork piece of since you're not in the office talking to each other every day. But it's fun to be able to collaborate online and do virtual meetings like how we are. I've done both sides of it because I actually just did my first copywriting project for my own company recently
Yay.
too.
Yay,
It was,
congratulations.
thank you. It was really different. It's a really different experience. So going from one to the other, like one-on-one client relations to working on a team, they're both good. They both have value, different value. I like working with the team, and obviously I like having a regular salary and health benefits to go with it.
That's great. How did you find this client?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So it was actually a referral to me. It was one of Adele's clients that she referred to me since she couldn't take on the workload at the time, and she made the introduction for us. And so I started helping her. It was a health and wellness business, and they needed a proposal written, so I did that.
It's good to
That's
have a
awesome.
network, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good to have a
Power of
network.
networking, yes.
Yeah. And to know other copywriters who, if
Mhm.
overflow work happens, you need great people that you can refer and vice versa. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. When I was first getting started, it was like me and then maybe another copywriter. And then as you start to meet more and more people. But yeah, I think that's for me at least, one of the surprise benefits of the CCA, which you think it was not really ever part of my plan. So fun surprise, but that everyone in the Facebook group gets the opportunity to interact with other copywriters and build relationships on Facebook. And then
In
sometimes,
real
like
life.
in this
Yeah.
case, in real life. That's terrific. Yeah.
No, it's been so great. I'm so glad to have these opportunities and to just be in the group and meet people and talk and all learn together. I think that's been honestly the best part of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing group of people. It's fantastic. So do you plan to take any more
That was
freelance
my question
projects
too.
on?
I want to know. I want to know, Carli, tell us.
Yes, I do plan to in the future. So my ultimate goal is still to launch my own copywriting business, but it's just been slow because our work has been really crazy and intense. But one of the elements of the internship is that it came with a mentorship from Adele, who's going to help whoever that person is to kind of get their copywriting business up and running. So we've been working together a lot each week on getting my website built. So it's in progress. We're just still getting the website set up right now.
That's awesome. And obviously, Adele is a fantastic resource, but don't forget about our coaching calls too. I know you're working as a copywriter and I know you're working, but we are here to help you as well.
Submit questions.
Exactly. Submit
Oh, yes.
questions, submit your portfolio for feedback. Yeah. Well, and I want to call attention to the fact that very obviously you got the internship through your merit. Like, yes, Adele put the information out there and it was a great point of connection, but you got the internship through your own merit and you got the social media social media manager position through your own merit and skill. And, same thing with the freelance client. Adele made the connection, but you got that through your merit and skill. And you landed all of this without yet having your portfolio site up yet.
Yes.
And yes. And that's a big deal. And I think that's something that keeps a lot of people from going out in the world. I mean, yes, you need a portfolio site, and obviously you're working on your portfolio site. But I think some people are like, oh, I'd really like to apply for that role, or oh, I really would like to, I'd like to do that, but I don't have my portfolio site up yet. And they wait. Did any of that go through your head as you were thinking about these opportunities?
Yes, for sure. And I did have that. When I was applying for the internship, obviously I didn't have a portfolio site. And one of the requirements was a 90-minute skills test. So that's one of the areas where I feel my CCA training came in handy, because it was like me and I think one other person who had landed the top spots, like top scores on the test. So I definitely used those skills there. And then for the client, yes. I mean, a lot of times I'm like, kind of like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed because I don't have a portfolio site yet. And I just had a conversation with Adele about that. And she was like, don't be embarrassed. You have work to show. And so a lot of times I use the work that I've done as my portfolio. So I'm like, well, you can look at our Instagram, which is at the NWHN online if anyone wants to look at it, because that's where a lot of my work does live. And she's like, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. People can still see that you have the skills, even if you don't have your portfolio site up and running yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you. That's another example of you not letting something hold you back and still taking action in spite of that. Is that something that comes naturally to you? Oh, I'm nervous, but I'm going to take action anyway? Or do you think that's something that's developed at some point in your life?
I guess it does come natural to me because that is how I tend to tackle a lot of things in my life. Is like there's this quote, it's like feel the fear and do it anyway, and that's kind of my my philosophy because I'm just constantly like, or anytime Adele gives me like a new copywriting project, something I haven't done before. Let me think of a recent example. I think one of them was like I wrote a landing page and I had never done that before. And I was like, and then I was like, okay. So there's always like a moment for me of like, right before, but I just dive in, even though I'm scared. And I just figure that I'll figure it out as I go along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have the skills. You're going to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important too, that people hear that there is that moment for you of, oh no, what am I doing?
Every single time, like almost every single day, at least once a day, where I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I just do it and it's fine. And it does get easier over time. I want to say that too, that it really does get easier over time, because that's one of the things with us. It's always going to be hard. And, when you have new clients and they're all different and they all want different things from you and they have different styles of communicating, and it can be like an overwhelming idea that you're going to be making all these clients happy. But yeah, it gets easier over time, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Where do you think you're not never leaving Adele? We would never, you would hate to lose you, but are you loving the social media realm still? Do you think, I mean, obviously you're taking on freelance clients still as well. Do you want variety? Where are you thinking things are going?
I mean, I do want to build up a client roster eventually. Right now, my work is like super crazy. I think I'm honestly working over 40 hours a week. So it's a lot and it's really fun and enjoyable right now. So I'm okay with that. I think in the future, at some point, I do want to build up my roster of clients. And I'm kind of open to whatever fields. I'm not like tied to one particular niche. But I think what I'm thinking is like I want to do copywriting freelance and then also social media consulting, since that's my strong suit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love that.
And there's certainly a need for all of that. In fact, a huge need for all of that, because so many companies, big and small, are stumbling around in the dark when it comes to their messaging, and then especially on their social media. God, there's so much bad stuff out there. Just real bad, real bad.
There really is.
Yeah. Now, we usually ask the question, if people are listening and they think, oh, I want to hire this person, I want to find them. So we can give out your Instagram handle, but knowing that we're recording this now and it's probably going to go live in what, a month or two?
You've got time for the portfolio.
We could give your portfolio URL and give you
Would you like a deadline?
Oh,
you
okay.
don't have to say yes, but
it's November 2nd is when.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I don't have the URL yet. I have to build a custom one. It's kind of just a generic Squarespace thing right now, but I think it's eventually going to be Sunshine Copy and Consulting.
Excellent. Good. Awesome. Well, we'll put it in the show notes, and obviously if it changes, just shoot us an email. But yes, again, you did not have to do that, but I'm pretty impressed that you're willing to take on the challenge and get your URL done by November 2nd, which If
I
you're
think that's
listening,
good.
that's today.
Yeah,
Yes,
2 months.
exactly. Right. You're good. You can
Yes.
get that done.
Gives me a SMART goal.
There you
So it's
go.
perfect.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? I mean, it's always going to evolve. So,
Well, like our careers do, right? I was just thinking in terms of, wrapping up our conversation. Sometimes we go into something thinking, okay, it's going to be exactly this way. And then the way that you did, Carli, you saw opportunities and you thought, all right, let me give that a try. And our careers can follow that kind of path where we just see what opportunities are out there and see where they take us. And we can end up having a much more well-rounded career than if we just go in like, it has to be this, it has to be that, and so much more opportunity and fulfillment and all kinds of things. So I really, again, I think I've said it a couple of times, but I'm going to say it again. I really applaud you for being willing to dive into stuff and to feel the fear and do it anyway, which is an excellent book. And really just let the opportunities take you where they will. I think that's really fantastic. And you should absolutely be commended for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So for anyone listening who's maybe curious about copywriting, what advice do you have for them? What would you say to Carli maybe 3 years ago?
It would definitely be just hit the ground running. Just take every opportunity as they come. And as I said, don't be afraid to look like a fool when you're first getting started. I think that's a key element of success in any business, is that you can't be afraid to be a beginner and look like a beginner. We all start off that way. So if somebody laughs at me, like, that's fine. I'm learning. So you just can't be afraid. And if you see a chance and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready yet, or I don't have my portfolio site, but this person wants what I have, just go for it. You got nothing to lose at this point. So you just got to go for it. And if you are afraid, you just do the thing anyway. That would be my advice.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, listeners and viewers, you have some assignments. It's time to just go out there and take action. Don't be afraid.
We're going to get that clip on repeat for everyone in the CCA. Just post it every week.
So get to it. And so with that, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.